Welcome to the Switchrpg podcast. I am one of your hosts, Gio, and I'm joined by Johnny. Johnny, how are we doing today?
Doing great!
Excellent, excellent. If this is your first time listening to the show from Switchrpg, where we bring you the latest in the world of RPGs on the Nintendo Switch. This week, it's a kind of a light news week. But
Very light.
Yeah, very light. But we do have something hidden up our sleeves, some list that we want to put together, a little spooky list. Johnny, what are you playing?
I've been playing some games.
Nice. All right. My oh, I'm sorry. I thought that was it.
I finished Hades.
You finished Hades.
I finished Hades.
How does one even finish that game, honestly?
You have to beat it multiple times. and then eventually you finish it and the credits will officially roll. There is a credit roll. And it is that whole ending sequence is awesome.
Okay.
Well worth it. And it took about 40 hours for me to get to that credit roll. So mileage may vary. Maybe some people can do it in 30 hours. Maybe some people will take up to 50 hours. But it'll vary just by the nature of, I guess you have to beat the game a certain number of times or trigger. Because every time you go through a run, you're getting a brand new storyline.
Right.
Every single time. And every time you go back, you're getting more storyline. Every single time. And even after you beat it, they have more storyline. And you can keep going, and you're going to get more storyline. It's insane how much story there is in that game. I actually am probably going to continue playing it just because of how much extra stuff, storyline-wise, never mind, like, progress, like gameplay progress stuff. There's just so much to that game.
It's also a very easy game to just pick up and play and just do a little bit of short runs or whatever. They're short runs because I'm not very good at it, but do a few runs or whatever.
I don't know about short, because when you run, because they give you a timer for when you complete a run, they show like, oh, you beat it in this amount of time. And it can fluctuate between, I think my quickest was like 38 minutes for a run. And usually I'm right around 40 minutes for a run or 45 minutes for a run. It depends. If you're going slow, it could probably take up to like 50 minutes, but it's under an hour. So each run is going to be under an hour.
I think that's probably my biggest problem. I rush way too much. I don't know. I haven't found the best way to really do well. I'm not sure if it's high attack damage, regular attack damage, high cast damage, a high dash. I don't know what the right combination is yet. And I think once I figure that part of it out, I'll be all right.
Yeah, it depends on the weapon, and it depends on the boons that come your way.
Okay.
So
yeah.
I would say the best boons to get is the hammer upgrade, the one that upgrades your weapon directly.
Yep.
And gives it like different modes of attack. Always go for that one over a god boon.
Really?
An Olympian boon. Always pick that one. That one's definitely the best. I mean, when you look at the currency, when you go into Karen and you're buying stuff and you see how expensive certain things are, the hammer is always going to be one of the most expensive things.
That's true.
And and so they're priced out in a particular way that gives you an idea as to how to value certain upgrades.
Okay.
During a run. Yeah.
Yeah, it certainly makes sense. Now, I haven't beaten the game, right? I don't think I'm even at the level of where you're at in terms of like how much time you've invested, but I will say this is probably one of my most favorite Nintendo Switch RPGs this year. I mean, it's been a pretty light year, but this one's really, really good.
I don't know about light. I mean, it did have the Xenoblade remake, but I would say this is definitely my favorite, not just Nintendo Switch game. This is my favorite game this year.
Yeah.
Just like across the board. Like everything. This game is absolutely fantastic.
It is
absolutely fantastic. It is my number one pick so far. This is the game to beat.
Yeah.
I mean, and this is a year where Xenoblade remake came out, and I absolutely love that game. But it is a remake. It is something that already existed, so it's not like it was doing something new.
Well, it's
whereas Hades is brand new.
right. I mean, it's not a remake; it's a remaster. But I get what you're
Yeah,
saying. Yeah.
it's a remaster with some extra bells and whistles too,
Right.
because it does
Right.
have the extra content
Hmm.
and some UI improvements. It's like a very well done remaster. But
Right.
yeah, Hades, absolutely fantastic. Just excellent, excellent stuff. Actually, there are some things I didn't like. Is just how expensive and how long term it is to unlock the music. Because you can purchase the music unlocks, but they
Yeah.
cost diamonds, and diamonds are kind of precious. So you could eventually, when you get to the end game stuff, or when you get to the halfway point in the game, you'll realize how easier it will be to get more diamonds and stuff. But it still does take. It's not trivial, right?
Yeah.
There's other stuff that you want to buy before spending your diamonds on music, which is unfortunate. They should have used a different resource, probably just the regular gems
Right. I agree.
to buy the music. I would have spent those gems in a heartbeat, but because it's diamonds, I want to use those diamonds for other stuff.
And the soundtrack is pretty freaking good. So it's like it's kind of stinks, right?
Yeah, yeah, it does. And there's Orpheus, right?
Hmm.
And what's her name? The wood lady.
The Wood Lady.
She's made of wood. Yeah, she's like a tree.
Oh, the one with Orpheus. Orpheus and her have a thing.
Yes, yes. I
Oh
got her name.
shoot. Yeah,
Um,
I know who you're talking about though.
Euclidia.
Yeah.
You
I don't remember her name, but I know who you're talking about.
her. Yeah. So I didn't resolve their quest line yet, as far as I know, and I'm guessing, I'm hoping that when you resolve that, you get a new song.
Yeah.
I know I have a feeling that there's gonna be a song, like a song that I haven't heard yet in the game soundtrack, that is gonna unlock when I resolve whatever that is, however that happens.
Maybe it'll be like a duet or something like that.
That's what I'm hoping for.
Yeah,
That's what
that'd
I'm
be
hoping for.
nice. That would be nice.
Yeah, yeah. Fantastic game. So
Hmm.
I finished that. I kind of just went crazy on that because that's a meaty game, right? 40 hours.
Yeah, that's pretty beefy.
Yeah. And then I played a little bit with the Super Mario Brothers 35.
Yeah, how was
Um,
that?
it's fun. It's interesting. They don't explain anything at all. Kind of like Tetris 99.
They're like,
So
go
yeah,
do the thing.
it is kind of straightforward though. You're just playing Mario 1 levels, but every time you complete the level it's random, and then the enemies you're encountering is also random, and they can get flooded onto you if you're being attacked by other players, kind
Okay,
of like in Tetris where the blocks will flood you.
right.
But you kind of want enemies, or at the very least you want easy enemies to kill, because every time you kill an enemy, and depending on how you kill them, you'll get more time. You're competing against a couple things. If you die, then that's it. That's the end of your run. So that includes dying from an enemy or dying from falling into a pit. If you run out of time, you'll also die, and that's the other way to lose. So you have to sort of balance between enemies, pitfalls, and the timer as like the three main ways that you're gonna die.
Yep.
Uh, and you can collect coins, but the coins is really to just give you a random block that you have like a random block on the top left, and you just hit a button, and it's like a lottery, like a slot machine. It'll spin a bit, kind of like Mario Kart,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
and it'll give you a random power up. It'll be like a star or a mushroom or a fire flower or something like that. And you want those power ups because obviously a mushroom or a fire flower is going to allow you to take a hit from an enemy and continue going on.
Hmm.
So you do want to get coins, but collecting coins doesn't give you time. So there's like a balance you have to do between collecting coins, finishing levels fast because when you finish a level and you hit the flag at the high point, you get more time. If you do combo kills on enemies, you get more time. If you get the star, forget about it. Just run into every single enemy because every single enemy you get is going to build up more seconds on your clock. That's
Hmm.
the most important part, is making sure your clock goes up as high as possible, because the later and later, the more people get knocked out and the longer the session, the battle between when it's like the top 5, the top 3, the top 2. When it gets to those kind of numbers, the timer really spins. A second is not a second. A second is like 5 in-game seconds. So it goes by really, really fast. So it really starts the countdown.
Huh. How good have you gotten? How high have you gotten?
I think I did 4. 4, I think, is the highest I've gotten so far.
Okay.
So not so high.
I'm gonna have to give it a shot just to see what it's all about.
Yeah, it's definitely jump in, play a few sessions, and then jump out. There's no real reason to like play it for really long unless you're like really, really good at it. And there's some people that are really good at it.
And some
Yeah,
people are just like hyper competitive as well, so they're just gonna want to keep
yeah,
playing until they get better and better and better.
yeah. It's a cool thing. Hey, it's free. It came with the online thing, and it was something that I was not expecting. So you
Right.
know, you know what they should do next though? They should do like some sort of like Zelda kind of Zelda four swords squared thing or something like that. I don't know, 4 to the power of 3.
Four
What
to
would
the
that be?
4 to the power of 3. That's 4
It'd be
cubed.
64.
Oh,
Yeah, I believe that would be 64. So
well, 4 times 4 is 16. 16 times 4 is another number.
yeah, 64.
Okay, there
Yeah.
we go.
So they should do like Zelda 64. They should call it just that, Zelda 64.
Oh, that would confuse people. That would be great.
That would be awesome. Zelda 64, 64 links, just all of them throwing boomerangs and shooting arrows and
uh,
bombs everywhere.
that actually probably would be good. Maybe
That
I
would.
mean, Zelda's I think 35th anniversary is next year, so maybe they've got something planned
Oh,
like that.
oh, I can only hope. I can only hope.
There you go.
If they don't do that, they should definitely do Metroid.
Wait, is it? Wait, I think I might be confusing it. It might be Metroid next year.
Oh, you know what? Then it should be Metroid 64 because it was never a Metroid game for the N64.
Yeah, I
That would
gotta I
be
gotta look that up. I think it's Metroid. That's the 35th anniversary.
that would be so good, so good if it was Metroid 64.
Yeah.
Yeah, online. Probably it would probably be speed runs, right? Because Metroid's all about the speed runs, so it would be something. It would probably be very similar. I can easily see it being similar to Mario 35. You're speed running through environments, maybe bosses, doing a lot of boss rush type
Yeah,
stuff as well.
that would be pretty cool. NES version 87.
So that would be in 2022.
Yeah, not yet. Let me look up Zelda. But yeah, I think those ideas would like just to incorporate something similar would be awesome.
Yeah. Oh, and you know what? F-Zero.
Ah, get out of here. So
And
yeah, Legend of Zelda on the NES was 86. So that would be next year.
that would be next year. So next year will be Zelda 64, followed by Metroid 64, and then you know what? They really should do an F-Zero because if there's ever a game out there that would be a shoe in for like a massive multiplayer thing, it would be F-Zero because F-Zero already has 30 cars on one track.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Is this mentioning of F-Zero just like an attempt to just mention F-Zero in every episode that we do, or I'm just curious. Just curious.
Hey, it's a Nintendo franchise that has been at
For,
asleep at the wheel for too long.
forgotten. Put cast
It's
aside.
not, it's not forgotten. Ask
Okay.
Sakurai, it's not forgotten yet.
Okay. All right. All right.
All right, the other game that I have now started to delve deep into is 13 Sentinels Aegis Rim.
Oh yeah. You just
I'm
you
going.
you got that physically.
I have it physically. I have it for the PlayStation, and playing that. I really do hope they bring it to the Switch because the game is not taxing the hardware whatsoever. It can run on Switch perfectly fine,
But
especially compared to Hades.
there is a more important. Like, is it good? I mean, how far have you gotten into it?
All right, game is weird because it's definitely weird. It's really cool though, but it's weird because it's fragmented like crazy. So when you're playing through the game, for the first like few hours, you're playing a bunch of fragmented segments. It's kind of like a slightly extended but tutorial, but it's giving you story. So
Okay.
it's not pointless stuff. It's very very relevant stuff. Once you complete that, you then go into like a menu system where you get to choose between three different modes of playing the game. There's the I forgot what the story one is, but there's essentially a story mode where you're experiencing different different segments of the game's storyline
Mm-hmm.
through the perspective of multiple characters, 13 characters. I haven't even gotten all 13 characters yet. I think I'm on 8 or 9 characters. And that's weird in and of itself because there's multiple branching paths in their story as you play it out, and it depends on the decisions you're making when you're playing out the scenes that occur, and it's on a timeline as well, a sequencing of events. So you could go down a path where you unlock a certain sequence of story-based events, and then that ends that path. But there's other paths that you can explore, so you have to go back to the original scene and replay that, but making different decisions, and it encourages that. So it has that thing going, and these paths can deviate pretty big. And there's a reason why they deviate, and there's a reason why they're there. Uh, so there's that. Another mode is you can kind of replay. It's like I think they call it the analysis mode. It's kind of like looking at documentation and the codex of sorts to sort of it's like background information.
Okay.
At least that's how it looks like. I don't know what the full significance of it is yet. It does allow you to revisit scenes. More importantly, it plots out, I think what it does, because it has two sections to it. The events section, I believe, plots out all the sequencing of events in linear order. So it shows you the order of time. Because when you're playing through the game, you're not doing it in chronological order. You're
Oh,
doing stuff that's in the past, you're doing stuff that's in the future, you're doing stuff that's in the present, and it depends on which character, and characters will appear on multiple timelines.
what?
Yes, there's time travel is baked into the story. It's a important part of the storyline.
Now, is the story just jumping around, or is there actually like a certain character that is moving in time, like changing time?
All 13 characters are labeled the protagonist.
Okay, but
So
are
they're
they time travelers?
uh some of them are bona fide time travelers, but I haven't figured that out yet because they haven't
Okay,
explained it yet in the storyline. But
okay.
one of them accidentally travels with another time traveler into the present.
Oh wow. So yeah, so there's definitely some time travel. I just wasn't sure if this like the story itself was just kind of moving around, time or whatever, or if
Yeah,
actual characters are actually sounds like actual characters are moving around.
the way the story is, it's basically you're watching an anime, like a really well done anime too. And it's playing out kind of like an anime, except you don't have any kind of dynamic camera angles or anything like that, because you're always seeing the characters on a side perspective for the most part. And there is some parts where there's some pretty awesome animation stuff going on, but it plays out like a scene, like you're watching a play in front of you. It and that happens, and the sequence of how you watch these events unfurl is so disjointed. It's like Pulp Fiction, but instead of having like three different uh, plots and three different timelines in Pulp Fiction, this one's like, I don't know, like 13 or 20 different timelines. It's crazy.
That is
It's all
crazy.
over the place, and you could pick and choose different characters. So once you unlock that mode, the mode where you get to see everything, where you get to pick and choose which mode you want to play. If you want to focus purely on storyline stuff first, you can do that, and you can do that by you can perhaps explore the entirety of the story of one character before you start delving into the storyline of another character. Some characters are locked out and you have to make progress in certain ways. The third mode of the game is the battle mode. That's when you are in the Sentinels, these big giant mechs, and you're battling the kaiju that are coming in and attacking everything. The kaiju slash tripod weird robot alien things. I don't know what they are yet because they haven't really explained it, but it is, they call them kaiju, they call them tripods, they call them a bunch of other stuff. There's also like movie references to like, because the present in that game is like 1984, 1985,
Uh-huh.
but it goes as far back as 1944, and it goes as far into the future as 2060. And it bounces around a lot, and it can be a little difficult to figure out when in time you are. And also there's like alternate reality type stuff in there as well, I think.
like when you say alternate reality, you mean like Matrix type stuff, or
uh I don't know yet. I don't know yet. It's hard to
okay,
explain, but it's very, very. All I can say is very intriguing. I'm definitely looking at, very interested in finding out what, how it's going to play out and how it's going to continue. The combat stuff is somewhat simple-ish, but I'm at the very beginning, so I'm
right?
kind of expecting that. And it seems like it's gonna get deeper and deeper the more and more I play. So I'm looking forward to the combat type stuff. But right now I've been, because you get to choose between doing the combat section of the game, the story section of the game, or replaying like data logs and reviewing files. I've been just focusing on the story stuff.
Sounds like quite a bit going on in there. Now
It's
it's all, is it sub, I think we went over this before though. Subbed or dubbed or both?
dubbed
Okay.
and subbed.
Wow. Oh wow.
Yep, and the voice acting's real good across the board. It's you'll get familiar voice actors that were in Fire Emblem. I heard a few Fire Emblem voices from there, so it was very recognizable. I'm like, oh, you're Annette or such and such from
Mhm.
Fire Emblem. Like,
Yeah, you
great.
would know seeing that you put like 400 hours into that game.
Oh yeah, yeah. So it's turned out to be a really cool game. It's very different from so many other. I don't think I've ever played a game like this.
That's good.
So it's very different.
That's good. Now, this is I think it's an Atlas published game. Is it Vanillaware that makes it?
Vanillaware makes it. Yep.
Yeah, so it shouldn't be exclusive to PlayStation. So,
No, not quite, because Atlas makes plenty of games for
well,
Nintendo
that's
as
what I'm
well.
saying. It should not be exclusive.
Oh, not be, yeah. I
So,
agree.
I don't know. Hopefully we get this on the Nintendo Switch land.
Yep, Atlas published.
Yeah. Awesome. What else you got?
That's kind of it for what I've been playing.
All right,
What have
cool.
you been playing?
Oh, well, thank you for asking. I think I mentioned this last time. Adam RPG. I might be done with Adam RPG. It's just not doing it for me. It's not different enough. It's not, the story is kind of boring to me. So I think I'm done. I might just, for YouTube, I might just kind of tie a nice little bow on it just to end it. But yeah, I think I'm done. It's just not for me. For the people who like Wasteland 2, Wasteland 1, the original Fallout 1 and 2, for those folks, this might be for them. It's just not for me. It is turn based. It's not real time with pause, which I definitely would not like. But yeah, I think I'm just done. I'm over it. Been playing a lot of Hades. Not as much as you, obviously. I'm not that good. I don't know what it is with me. Maybe I just can't concentrate enough. I have no idea.
I just don't like my time, I guess. I like to waste my time. Something.
But I've been playing Hades. I've been playing a lot of Minecraft Dungeons. I'm getting back into that, especially because my son's been wanting to play. So I've been playing a lot of that with him. I think I might get the most recent DLC that's come out. I know that there's more coming out. I think in November or December, somewhere around
Yeah.
there. But he just wants to explore different places. So I think we might jump into the jungle world and the winter wonderland, whatever they have there. But yeah, we get into it's pretty funny because I remember playing these types of games with my friends. When Super Nintendo was out and all that stuff. But I remember playing those kind of co-op games with them, and he is exhibiting the same things that I would do. The arguments and stuff like that. It's actually, it's pretty funny. Um, but one thing he does, which irks me, it irks me so much, and it even irked me like when I would play Diablo or even Torchlight or even Path of Exile. If I'm ever playing with someone, we're doing the thing, we're grinding, we're playing the game. All of a sudden, they get a new piece of something, shiny, whatever it is, and they stop while you keep going, and they just look at and they stop and admire what they just received. He does that to me all of the time, and I tell him, dude, you can't do that because I am in it to win it. I'm going through all the way, and I'm doing it all by myself. I'm not supposed to be taking on all these guys by myself because obviously the difficulty ramps up, right? When you have two
Yep.
players, and and at that point I get KO'd. I'm waiting for a resurrection, and he's still looking at his rare whatever robe that he just got, and I'm dead.
Just explain it in Christmas terms. Like you can't open your presents yet. You got to
No,
wait until after we kill the enemies.
all right, or yeah, or just clear an area. Okay, it's safe. I will protect you. You can look at your common gear now. He just likes it's just no matter what it is, he just likes looking at it, and he's like, "Dad, is this better?" I'm like, "No, it's terrible. Let's go." It's terrible. It's awful. It's common gear. It's white, right? It's white gear, common gear. Yeah,
Yeah.
Dad. All right,
Oh,
let's go. But it's just a fun experience
that's
playing that
great.
with him.
He's all like purpled out and like epic gear and a white
Yeah.
dress.
Oh,
And
and then when he gets the unique stuff, he loses his ever loving mind. That's great. But yeah, I've been playing a lot of that with him. I've also got into the early access. I bought into early access for Baldur's Gate 3. Um, Obviously, with the studio behind it, Larian Studios, this is like right up my alley, right? So it's really heavily focused on Dungeons and Dragons 5e. And I'm sure a lot of people have seen the gameplay and the trailers. And what early access provides is basically the first act, but with like riddled with bugs. Basically,
oh,
um, yeah, it's got bugs, and they were very clear about that. Like here's the first act. It's very early. I want to say they're about a year or so out from their planned release date, which they haven't even told us. So they're way out. This is very very early, and yeah, there's some bugs. I've seen some in conversations. I've seen duplicate characters. I've seen players falling through some things. But in between all that stuff, the game is actually pretty fun. Right now, I'm playing as a ranger. I've dubbed him Robin Hood. I'm very generic ranger. I typically don't even play as rangers. I find them uh, kind of boring, to be honest with you.
heresy.
So so that's what I've started out as, and right now I'm really really early into it. I'm like maybe 2 or 3 hours, where I've seen people put like a stupid amount of hours into it so far. But right now I'm enjoying it, and to be honest, I don't even have like a gaming PC. I think my graphics card, it probably has like two 2 gigs of RAM. It's a very potato gaming PC. It is very very low end. But it was handling just fine. It really was. And the settings say ultra. I don't know. I was playing in ultra settings, which is doesn't make any sense. I did have to modify them a little bit to get it a little bit more smooth, but otherwise it ran okay. It didn't My PC didn't crash. So I think they got something though. I really do. I really do think they have something in there. And if you're a fan at all of Divinity, I think this is just like this is what the next thing is, you know. So yeah, that is what I've been playing.
Well, I have some questions about Baldur's Gate
Oh,
3. I mean, so what's the combat like? Is it more in line? Can I expect something in line with Divinity, or is it?
it's a little different. Again, they go by. I've never played Dungeons and Dragons 5e, but basically you have a move action, and I think they call it a. Is it no? I think it's a move action bonus action. So you can do a shove, or you can do a kick, or you can do an attack, um, or you can do a spell, and then you can move, or you can either or. So you can
Yeah.
move and then do any one of those other things. And that's basically it in terms of how combat works.
So every character just move and do an action, and then move.
Right, because I leveled up once. I really didn't level up. So as you level up, you can choose different feats and everything like that. So I'm not sure. Maybe different characters get different feats where they can perform an extra bonus action or an extra move action. I'm not entirely sure how that's going to work out. I would say the people who are more in tune with the D&D 5e, they may know a little bit better as to how the progression works with the certain classes. For example, I'm in the ranger class. I don't know what their progression is like in 5e. So it might depend on that. I don't know.
So it's turn-based then.
Oh, definitely. Yes, it's definitely turn based. It's not real time with pause. It's very much turn based. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's different from Baldur's Gate 1 and 2
Yeah.
and the
Yeah.
variants.
You know, and I would say a lot of the Baldur's Gate nerds, not me, but a lot of the people that are really passionate about Baldur's Gate, especially Baldur's Gate 1 and 2, the original ones there, um, this was this is a little harder for them to swallow. Um, the fact that it's not real time with pause.
Well,
Uh,
I prefer turn-based. I mean,
I
turn-based just gives it the tactical precision that you want.
I agree.
Because real-time or pause, you just end up pausing it as if you were playing it as turn-based.
Right, right. And as I've mentioned before, real time with pause on a console, I'm more of a console gamer to begin with. Real time with pause on a console is an absolute nightmare. But on a PC, it's obviously a little bit different. So the I don't know. And to be honest, turn based is more in line to what the real tabletop is like. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You're taking turns. So
And in addition to that, the Baldur's Gate games had an issue with combat. I feel they had an issue with combat with melee or physical ranged characters versus spellcasters, where if you're playing someone that's melee or shooting arrows, it was pretty straightforward. You just click on something and it dies or you die. And there wasn't really that much else that you needed to do. But if you have this turn-based system, I'm guessing that they're gonna give you a plethora of options
yeah.
where just attacking them regular could be viable, but it may not be the best action that you'd want to do given the scenario.
Right. And I do it a lot in my playthrough. I was using the shove action a lot to get positional advantages, kind of trying to lump people together because I do have an additional party member who can cast an AoE attack. So I was trying to do a little bit of that strategic type of stuff. And they also added in a lot of environmental factors like again if you're familiar with Divinity, they had that a lot as well. Um, so there's a lot of variations in what you used to what you can do now compared to what Baldur's Gate was before. I feel like you had mentioned what Baldur's Gate was before. It was just kind of like you had said, where you're just trying to outlive like an encounter. There was really no strategy. I don't think. I don't
No,
know.
not really. So you mentioned the environmental stuff. Are we talking like Divinity, where you can electrify a pool of blood?
Yeah. So
I was
there's kind of like that double uh, I guess that compounding,
compounding.
yeah, the compounding of environmental factors. Right in the very beginning, You can blow up these. I don't even know what the heck they are, but it puts like a purple ooze on the floor, and if you run through it, you can get poisoned. But you can also light it on fire. I mean, that's just the basic stuff because that's all I have right now. But you can also dip your weaponry or your weapons in certain liquids or whatever. Again, I'm a ranger, so I was fire right next to me. I was able to dip my arrows into the fire and they became fire arrows. Whereas in Divinity, you would actually need to either make or buy or find them fire arrows where you couldn't do that. So there's a little bit of different stuff.
Does when you blow something up and the fire goes away, does it leave smoke? And does the smoke obscure
Yeah,
range attacks and whatnot and vision?
I don't recall. I would assume that if they did that in Divinity, they would
It
carry that
probably
over because I mean, it makes sense, right?
it does.
So I don't recall the fire going out. So I don't remember. I don't
I'm
remember.
just hoping they keep as much of the divinity stuff because obviously it's not doing the point system, which I love that point system in Divinity. But if it's not doing that, I just hope it keeps as much of everything else that it can
Yeah.
from Divinity.
Yeah. And I've had a lot like with Divinity, it had a lot of the dice rolls done kind of behind the scenes. And I think having it out in front where people can kind of see it might be a little bit better because you know why you failed a certain thing. In again in Baldur's Gate, whereas in Divinity, you would fail something and you'd be like you would have no idea why or how close you were to failing or whatever. So I think having the dice roll or whatever on screen
What do
is
you mean on screen? I don't. There's a dice roll on screen. I'm looking at screenshots.
yeah, there on certain in certain instances there's dice rolling. You see it a lot in conversation. Basically when you're trying to either like a speechcraft roll or a barter roll or whatever. If you're trying to do any one of those special type of skills, there can be a dice roll associated with it.
All right, but it doesn't happen in combat, like miss an attack or land in a critical or something like that, or does it do it in combat as well?
No, no, it does not. It has. I don't. I don't remember seeing it in combat. I don't think it does it in combat. No.
All right.
No, but
Uh,
you can miss critically. I don't know what that means, but you can also hit critically. Obviously, I know what that means. I don't know what missing critically means. I,
uh, yep.
I don't know.
Okay.
I have no idea. But yeah. I'm only like maybe like I said 2 or 3 hours. The beginning story is cool. I love the mind flayer as a boss. I think he's a cool looking boss. Or just the that enemy itself. So, yeah.
It's for such a prestigious game and studio, the current user score on and it has over 7,000 user scores or user reviews on Steam. It's at 83% or 82%. Let
I
me just
think
double.
I think that will go up. I mean,
83%.
considering it's early access, I don't even know why people are reviewing it.
Well, if it's for sale, they can review it.
No,
So
no, I know, and I understand that, but I mean, you also have, as a consumer, you have to look at that a little bit more critically because, again, it's early access, and if you understand what early access is, you're basically a beta tester. You pay to buy into the beta testing, so you have
and
to go into that. Other than like, I don't even know what you could say is in terms of being critically like being critical of a game in early access. And I don't want to sound like I'm being like a Larian Studios rump swab. You know what I mean? I just think that again, when you're getting into early access, you're beta testing. So things are going to change and they can change dramatically.
yeah, and some people they need to know that ahead of time, right? Especially in the notion of it could change dramatically. They could like what they're currently playing, but there's more players complaining about what they're currently playing, and then what they're currently playing, which they like, changes
Yeah,
to something that they don't like. So there is also that possibility. So it's just a little bit of a buyer beware type thing.
right. So, yeah, in 83 I'd have to play a little bit more to agree or disagree with that, but I mean, so far that seems maybe about right. There's problems. There are problems, but I know Larian's not shy about admitting that either. So cool. Before I forget, don't forget to visit our Discord, discord.switchrpg.com. Also, our socials, twitter.com/switchrpg. Facebook is, you can find us on Facebook, SwitchRPG, um, and YouTube, youtube.com/switchrpg. Cool. All right, some new game stuff. We have a new Kickstarter that kind of launched here. It looks like it's a prequel, or actually they say it's a prequel to a cult hit horror game, Camp Sunshine. I am not familiar with this game. I have not heard of this game. But again, this is a Kickstarter, and their goal is just under 26,000, and they're at 12,000 right now. And the Kickstarter just hit today. I think it just hit today.
Well, it's got 28 days to go, so
I'm not sure if they're 30-day Kickstarter. I have no
yeah.
idea. Okay. All right, so basically, Sunshine Manor is the prequel to Camp Sunshine, a love letter to retro gaming and classic 1980s horror films. The game takes inspiration from movies such as From Beyond, Friday the 13th, and Nightmare on Elm Street, while mixing gameplay mechanics from such as the beloved and long-running Legend of Zelda, Resident Evil, and Silent Hill. I will say it looks nothing like Resident Evil or Silent Hill, um, but maybe Legend of Zelda. It is a 8-bit pixel art top down type of game. It looks
It looks more like Earthbound,
yeah, I would say very much more like Earthbound than it does Zelda.
like Mother 1.
Yeah, yep.
And it's
I'm
not, they can't say it's 8-bit when they're using the really high resolution sprites on certain cutscenes. And, like, yeah, that's not 8-bit when you're doing stuff like that. Sorry.
yeah, I'm just also trying to find out what type of combat system this is. Are you seeing anything like that?
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not seeing combat. I'm seeing some pushy, puzzly stuff. I don't know. I guess you're playing a girl, and I think she casts spells. It looks like she has like this purple rune circle spell around her, and that kind of vaporized a few enemies.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe that's your combat.
Yeah.
Oh,
So
she also shot these electrical balls uh, around her. So
okay, so it's some sort of maybe an actiony type of
yeah, it's not clear, but if I had to guess, it would be action.
yeah. Yeah, and they have all sorts of like Kickstarter type of stuff with some of their rewards. Looks like they're combining some of their earlier releases along with this new release. So yeah, this game is called, or the Kickstarter is called Sunshine Manor, a retro horror game. I was pretty certain I read that it was an RPG somewhere. I'm not seeing it right now. Oh boy. Yeah, I'm not seeing it right now. Great. Fantastic. Anyway,
You're not hearing that, are you?
what's that?
Are you hearing that?
No. No, I am not hearing that.
Okay, I don't know why it's triggering. That's weird. Moving on.
Okay, yes, certainly. Moving on. The Magister, a tactic style card battler RPG announced for the Switch, and it's got a new trailer. So the Magister is a murder mystery card battler RPG. Build and customize your deck to fight in battles, or use the tactical diplomacy to pacify those who stand in your way. Gather clues and discover motives as you investigate the death of your predecessor and unmask the guilty culprits. What are your thoughts on this? Are you watching this?
Yeah, looks interesting. I'm trying to see. All right, so they got a. I guess when you enter combat, there's a grid system.
Yep.
So I'm already a big fan of that. It looks like it's turn-based combat. They got a lot of weird card stuff going on the right-hand side of the screen.
It looks like the battles take place as you are in place, right? Or am I not seeing that? Or am I seeing that wrong?
That part I don't know because you're definitely taking turns. So maybe there's phases to your turns, or phases to the combat where all right, it's the movement phase, then it's the player cards phase or something like that. I'm not too certain, but it's different.
Yeah,
Um,
I think it's
and the
fairly
artwork is
interesting actually.
yeah, the artwork isn't bad. It's just odd because the characters, how they're drawn, is like side perspective, and then the vantage point of the world is completely top down.
Completely top down, yeah, but your character is kind of almost isometric, kind of like at an angle.
Barely estimate. I'd say more side scroll than anything else. So someone messed up real hard on the presentation of the characters relative to the world, or
I think that was done.
presentation
That
of the
was
world.
done purposely. I don't think they messed that up.
I think that messed it up. It doesn't look right.
Oh man. But yeah, the battles take place with they're kind of like, yeah, you had mentioned turns. But you're using the cards though, right? Is that correct? Looks like you're using the cards.
Yeah. You have cards on the right hand side of your screen. There's I don't know. There's some diamond and blue bar stuff on the very top part. There's cards on the right hand side. There's this other thing. There's stuff going on in here, so there's some intrigue. And there's also, by the way, there's some parts of the levels where the perspective is correct relative to the character, and then there's some areas in the world where it's not. It's completely top down. So they have lots of inconsistencies on the perspective of the artwork.
Right.
So
We'll have to see how that plays out.
but it's the art ain't bad. The art looks fine. Like it doesn't look like bad art. It just looks like weird perspective all over the place.
Yeah.
And it does look interesting as you.
Yeah. It looks like the cards cost you crowns. Is that what I see there? The crowns may be the currency, and you can only use certain cards based on your turn, and you can only have like you have so many crowns per turn, and so that limits you what cards you can use.
Yeah, and it does have it leans heavily on the adventure, puzzle solving adventure
Yep.
style stuff. So it does lean heavily on that too.
Cool. And I don't think they. I think it was just a trailer. I don't think they have a date for that quite yet. Yeah, I don't think there's a date for that. All right, cool. That is called the Magister. Excellent. So yeah, another. I don't think this is a new announcement. I think the what's new on this is the actual release date. Sword of the Necromancer confirmed for December release on the Switch. Jandusoft and Grimorio of Games have provided an update on Sword of the Necromancer, a dungeon crawler action RPG with rogue-like elements. It's now confirmed that the title will be released in December. So yes, Sword of the Necromancer, what would you do to bring back someone you love? Sword of the Necromancer is a dungeon crawler action RPG with roguelike elements where you can revive your defeated enemies to make them fight alongside you. Turn your foes into allies using forbidden powers of the Sword of the Necromancer and help Tama reach the dungeon's depths in order to gain enough power to bring back Coco back from the dead. So I'm guessing Coco is the one you love. Have you seen any of this?
Yeah. So at first I was excited because I thought this was related to Crypt of the
It
Necrodancer.
is not. It is
Yeah,
not.
it's not. Has nothing to do with it. Um, I'm looking at the gameplay. I mean, it looks all right, but it also looks like a game that I've played many times.
Yeah, it's a little bit of a kind of your generic action RPG type of deal. kind of your top-down perspective, more isometric. Maybe not isometric. Your Zelda-esque.
Say isometric. Yeah,
Okay.
Zelda's isometric.
Yeah.
It's like I literally just played a game like this called Hades,
Yeah.
and right, Hades, roguelike, isometric, fast-paced combat.
Yep.
Like I just played a game like that, and Hades definitely does some excellent stuff and does some unique stuff. And this game probably does some unique things here and there, but I just played Hades, and I still want to play more Hades. So
Oh yeah, in comparative, like how much will this be compared to Hades, which may be a better experience? I'm not entirely sure. I'd have to look. I don't have a price on this unless it's on the eShop already. I mean, have to look at that. But I don't know. It's again, it's your isometric angle. It looks like your buttons are mapped to certain moves or spells. Um, yeah, I don't know. The art style is okay. It's not terrible.
it's got
Uh,
multiplayer,
does it
and
have?
it has that aspect of resurrecting your enemies to fight alongside you. So
That's pretty cool.
there's that. Yeah.
See if I can look up Sword of the. Come on, not here. Okay, so I can't tell you how much it is. Love to, but I can't.
Maybe I can.
Oh, maybe you can. I don't know what that means. You have some sort of
Yeah.
special
Uh,
ability.
no, there's no. You can play a demo of it on Steam, but it is not for sale, so I have no idea what the price of it is going to be.
Yeah, so we can't even. We have no guesses.
It says it's going to come out in December.
Soon.
Soon.
Be here soon. All right. I thought that I saw this was coming to the Switch. This next thing. Oh, it is. Okay. 1940s pixel RPG. Peckham. Wait, what am I reading here? I can't even read this. Peckaminosa? Peckaminosa? I don't know.
You got it. That's it.
All right. Peckaminosa goes noir in early 2021. So, Portuguese developer Serial Games is joined by Madrid-based Badland Publishing to release detective noir action RPG Peckaminosa. Come on, guys, help us out here. Peckaminosa. I'm gonna spell it out for you guys. Peckaminosa. Peckaminosa. I don't know why I'm having trouble with that. Anyway, players take on the role of former cop and down on his luck drunk John Souza, who is one day visited by ghost of mob boss Charlie Two Angels and tasked with helping him capture his former associates in a bid to get Charlie into heaven. Along the way, players will have to deal with thieves, gangsters, and members of the occult. Have you seen any gameplay on this yet, though? That's
Yes, I am looking at gameplay right now.
and
It's not what I was expecting.
what does that mean?
So it's an isometric action game. Uh, so yeah, isometric. I would say like Diablo-y meets the Grand Theft Auto 1 and 2 esque
Oh,
type of
okay,
thing, but it's not as pulled back perspective.
okay.
So you are exploring around. Um, let's see.
I see the gameplay trailer here. All right.
You're going into a casino. You can do some gambling. There's a lot of like talking to people. Oh, you can equip stuff. So you can have a hat, a tie, uh,
Obviously, you're a detective in the 40s. That's what you're gonna want to do.
your police jacket and police pants, some shoes, quick, quick access inventory.
What makes it police pants, by the way? I'm just curious.
Let's see. It has zero luck, zero intel, zero endurance, and zero four. Maybe that's fortitude.
Fortitude, yeah, yeah.
Whereas your police jacket does give you +1 fortitude.
Nice. All right.
Your the red tie gives you +2 luck.
Okay. And it looks like some of the they call it life, but basically your luck, intelligence. Oh, I just lost it. Luck, intelligence, force. That's what you're looking at. It's force and endurance. So it kind of it's almost like the what the D&D does as far as the lawful good, evil, that sort of aspect there.
Oh,
So
force probably because you're shooting guns, so you can't use strength.
right.
So force is like I don't know, accuracy or something. I it looks good. The combat is a twin stick shooter.
Yeah.
That's what it looks like,
Yep.
and
Um,
it's faster paced than I thought it would be.
yeah, I was looking at a boss fight where this is just like fire everywhere. It looked
Yeah,
kind of interesting.
yeah. It actually does look interesting. Like it's clearly heavy on the role playing element,
Yep.
and that's exciting.
And some
It's
and some of the sprite work is decent.
yeah, yeah. I would definitely pay attention to this because it looks different and it's consistent in how it presents itself, and it's also it looks like it's pretty deep. You got multiple dialogue tree stuff going on as well, so it's got a whole lot of interesting elements going for it.
Yeah, the only thing I'm not interested in is the name. For whatever reason,
That's the name of the town, so
I was just having a problem with. Just so you're aware, pecaminosa, I don't think it might be in Portuguese, means sinful.
oh, there you go.
There you go. Okay. Glad we're all on the same page. That is
Hey,
gonna do it. That's gonna do it for new game announcements. That's just me being Portuguese, okay?
did you look at the dude's name?
It's John Souza, right?
John Sousa, brilliant. I love it.
John Souza. Again, you and we're both Portuguese, right? I don't know if you're 100%. I am.
One hundred
One.
percent.
All right, so
I
we're both 100% Portuguese, and John Souza just sounds like every Portuguese person that we've probably met. That's just a very very common name.
it's the perfect name. It's the perfect name for a Portuguese detective.
Well, the developers are Portuguese, so this just works. All right,
I love.
that's going to do it for new game announcements. Now, quick hit news before we get into the meat and potatoes of this whole episode. Atelier Ryza will not be censored in the West.
Oh,
Says Koei Tecmo. Great. So, I know that Japan they tend to do that quite a bit. And this came out in a tweet message to fans. This is Koei Tecmo America. Despite the differences in Atelier Ryza 2 promotional videos recently shown at TGS, the Tokyo Game Show, we want to assure fans that the game itself will not be censored in the West. We hope everyone is looking forward to the upcoming adventure. So basically, in Japan, they have very, very, very strict rules as to what they can show and cannot show. Um, so yeah, they're basically coming out and telling us that we are not getting censored at all.
they also showed a screenshot comparison,
Oh
and
yes, yes, yes. Yep.
and all it is just well, it's quite revealing clothing, but it's nothing that's more revealing than what a swimsuit that
Right.
you'd see in the beach would reveal.
Right. So for example, like you were saying, in the Western version, it's basically it looks like it's got smoke covering the woman's lower half.
Yep.
And in the version that hopefully we'll be getting, like they said they were going to get, uh, like you had mentioned, it looks like just basically like a swimsuit.
Yeah, and that is it me or is that smoke also obscuring the UI below it?
It really is. Yeah, it definitely is. Maybe,
That
yeah.
bad implementation of censorship because that is literally getting in the way of gameplay.
Yeah, it definitely is. So yeah, that's for Atelier Ryza 2, which I know a lot of people are very, very interested in. I think even Koei Tecmo, I want to say I read it somewhere that even they're surprised as to how the reception they're getting with this Atelier Rise game, which is why they created it or
Yeah.
they're making a second one.
I recommended that game to my friend, and he got it, and he absolutely loves it.
That's great.
Loves the first one.
Yeah. And you can play them out of order. I mean, Atelier Rise has nothing to do with any of the other Atelier games. I know that's always a question people ask if they know that there have been other Atelier games.
Yep.
All right, cool. Monster Hunter Rise has been in development for 4 years. And I think we've mentioned this in the past. Monster Hunter World, Switch was never explored. And I don't think we're ever going to get it for the Switch. But what we do have is Monster Hunter Rise, and this was by Eurogamer. Eurogamer has managed to scoop an exclusive interview with Monster Hunter series producer Ryozo Tsujimoto and Monster Hunter Rise director Yasunori Ichinose. During the interview, it is confirmed by Mr. I gotta get better with these. I'm gonna do it. Mr. Tsujimoto,
You got
that the impressive looking Nintendo Switch exclusive has been in development at Capcom for 4 years. The development started on the Switch title before Monster Hunter World was created, which is actually pretty interesting. I thought it would be the other way around. Okay,
well, Monster Hunter World was also in development for quite some time, so I think it was probably more so that they weren't uh, fully comfortable with the World engine, and they were probably more focused on getting that RE engine to work on the Switch,
okay,
which caused the deviation or the separation. And once again, I don't know how much of the RE engine, if at all, is used in World. But there's a very clear difference that what World is run on and what Rise is running on is definitely clearly different.
yeah, definitely different. But what he said is that they really didn't explore whether Monster Hunter World would work on the Switch, as he says that they treat each title as its own concept. He went on to say that you could not ignore the hardware you're releasing it on when you design the game, which obviously makes total sense. But basically what he's saying is that Monster Hunter World cannot run effectively on the Switch, or at least its current iteration.
Oh, it could. It's just the way you see it running on consoles, it's probably not going to run that well on the Switch without major sacrifices.
Yeah,
And would it be worth those sacrifices, or they made a game from the ground up for the Switch instead of doing a port? This is not a port. This is a game from the ground up, so it's going to run better.
right. It's meant to run better.
Yeah, so this is the right decision. They made absolutely the right decision.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
This is a great Monster Hunter decision. The Monster Hunter movie was not a good decision.
No, not.
That was a terrible decision. All right. Australian Ratings Board says Immortals Phoenix Rising has in game purchases. So not only does it have kind of a wonky name that I know you don't like, we're also going to be dealing with Ubisoft and their constant feeding us of optional quotations, um, microtransactions. Basically, it's what this article says. This is on My Nintendo News. They're stating that the microtransactions are for clothing, weapons, and items. Now, are these just skins for those things, or
Nah,
what are we dealing with here?
we're gonna get the full Ubisoft service, the banquet galore. We're gonna get EXP boosts. We're gonna get epic legendary items, what have you. That's all fine by me. I never buy these microtransaction things anyway, so it's not gonna bother me. Remember, DLC for Breath of the Wild also had like extra items and stuff like that alongside it. So sometimes just by the way you handle microtransactions can just make a big difference. For me, I'm more comfortable with bigger DLC pack, like a full package, like
Yeah,
a mini expansion of sorts. I'm way more accepting of that than be nickel and dimed with little tiny trinkets and items and gear and stuff like that. That
Right.
stuff bothers me.
And that's what you're going to be dealing with here. I think even if you buy the ultimate edition, because there are like many iterations of this, as Ubisoft does, um, you're still going to have to buy microtransactions for certain things.
Yeah.
Which again, this is a single player game. I don't understand why anyone. Again, this is just me talking. Where my character, I really could care less what it looks like, but in a single player game, even less so. Like,
Well, it's fine, right? Like as long as it doesn't get in the way of the single player experience, where it feels like a grind until you get the next item, and they're gating that type of progress, or they're slowing down your progress. As long
wasn't
as they
there
don't
wasn't there a game that did that though? I want to say it was.
Shadow Mordor or
That's it.
Shadow,
Yeah.
that one did it. But it ties into the balance. As long as they're not getting in my way while playing it, then I'll be fine with it there. It's not going to bother me, and it's fine. What if I absolutely love this game and I really do like this cosmetic thing, or this thing that is more than just cosmetic? It not only does it look cool, but it also is one of the better weapons to get. Like I'm fine with that.
Yep.
It's optional. I don't have to, right? I know that there's a trade-off, right? I have to actually give money in order to get this thing. So it's single player, so it's not hurting anyone.
Yeah, it's not hurting anyone but yourself, really.
Yeah.
That's if it truly is. I don't
But
know. I
it's
don't.
it's not even hurting because it's my choice. It's up to me whether I want to get that or not. The only time that it does hurt is, like I said, in the balance. If the balance of the game forces feels like it's forcing players to buy these microtransaction stuff, then that's a no-go. You
Right.
don't you definitely don't insert these things to interfere with gameplay. Definitely don't do that.
Yeah. That's no good. Yeah, I just hope they're not gating things at all. Ah, just feels so sleazy.
Could be. It definitely opens up the Pandora's box for something
Right.
like that.
All right. Next we have Skies of Arcadia developer says remaster or sequel depends on Sega. Have you played Skies of Arcadia?
You skipped over the Yeast 9 thing.
Oh, why would I do such a thing? We'll get back to the Skies of Arcadia. Amazon US list Yeast 9 Monster Knox Switch release date as June 30th, 2021. I am very much excited for this game.
Yeah, me
Um,
too.
and the fact that we still have to wait a little bit longer kind of stinks. This game
It
is out, right, for other consoles or no? I thought it
that
was.
I don't know. It might be a simultaneous. I'm not entirely sure, but I mean June. So,
Well,
oof,
Amazon has the PS4 version listed February 2nd, 2021. I think that's more
yeah.
in line to what it really is for PlayStation version, and we are getting a delayed version.
But we are getting this nice little special, mini art book and all that stuff.
We are getting yeah, we're getting a little extras. Always nice. I think NAS, not I think I know NAS America does that a lot. They always like to add little goodies like this, which is awesome. I love that
All right.
because that's just what I do. I collect things.
Well, it's good to know that there's a potential solid date
Yeah.
on a potentially really good Yeast game.
And as you've mentioned before, yeast games are generally solid games.
Yep.
So yeah,
And this looks more promising than any other Yeast game that has come before it.
yeah, I agree. I think the the previous ones were always very safe. Uh, and I think this one's taking a little bit. It feels a little different. Looks and feels different.
It's darker,
I like it.
prettier. It's in a prison city thing. It's great.
It's awesome. It's awesome. It's in a prison city.
Everyone's sad. It's great. It's our inner souls.
Oh
They're
man.
screaming out.
Yeah, it's everyone's frame of mind right now. All right, back to what I was saying before you rudely interrupted me. Skies of Arcadia developer says remaster or sequel depends on Sega, as he's not working on SOA related games, which is in quotation. SOA means Sega of America, I think. related.
Skies of Arcadia. That's what SOA
Oh,
is.
geez, how stupid am I? Wow, way to correct me in front of everyone, as he's not working on Skies of Arcadia related games in quotes. I knew that. Sega of America. What a dummy. Anyway, believe it or not, what do we got? Believe it or not, but it's now been 20 years since Sega's JRPG Skies of Arcadia was released on the Dreamcast. It was followed up by the GameCube version Skies of Arcadia Legends in 2002. So basically, the Kenji Hirutu, considered to be one of the main devs on the original release, took the anniversary as an opportunity to inform fans that it depends on Sega, not himself, if they want an HD remaster or sequel, as he's no longer working on SOA Skies of Arcadia related games. Interestingly, though, he is working on something related to Skies of Arcadia, just not in that game, just not that game. So yeah, basically he put the tweet out. Happy 20th anniversary to of Skies of Arcadia. I know that many guys want HD remaster or sequel, but unfortunately it depends on Sega. I am not working for SOA related games, but I've been working something related to SOA. It may be a small change, but not zero. We are changing something. Really kind of cryptic a little bit there.
Yeah.
What I'm wondering is if we have kind of like the Eiyuden Chronicles situation, where
It doesn't seem like that. I mean,
no,
it says right there, it may be a small change, but not zero, right? So it's the fact that he says uh, it's above zero. It's better than zero. So it's better than nothing,
yeah,
right? That's kind of what it says to me. So I don't know. It's probably going to be like a poster or like an art book, or it's small, right? It's the 20th
yeah,
anniversary, and whatever it is that he's working on, it's like so small and minute, or it's probably just a side project that probably has like some other game where he's allowed to use like an appearance, right? Like a character, maybe like some gotcha game he's working on,
okay.
and you can, one of the characters that you could get is one of the Skies of Arcadia characters or something like that.
Man, I went from 0 to 60 like so fast. I was thinking Aiden Chronicles. All right,
No,
Sega
no,
doesn't want to work with him. He's gonna do something like Suikoden did and Aiden Chronicles did. He's just gonna be doing his own dang thing. Kickstarter up next month. Get on the hype train. But apparently, he shot it all down.
nah. It says right there, it's not even a game. So it's something super small, minuscule, and he's asking fans to port beg or remaster beg
Yeah,
kind of thing.
yeah. He's basically saying if you want Skies of Arcadia, you got to talk to Sega.
I mean, I have Skies of Arcadia Legends. I played and beat that game. It's not a game I think needs a HD remaster
Okay.
because it will not age well. It's definitely one of those older RPGs that is not going to age well. It was a fun experience, but oh man, was it slow. Slow, slow, slow. Very
Then
slow.
then maybe a sequel would be better off.
Oh yeah, I would definitely like a sequel because the world itself was cool, right? Putting together that crew, you got your little airships, you're flying around, you got airship battle system, you got character battle system. You
Mm-hmm.
know, there's some good stuff there. But yeah, they got the, to remake. If they remake the original, I'm okay with that.
Like a Trials of Mana type of situation.
yeah, like a major remake, not something trivial.
Yeah.
So remaster, I would say, yeah, yeah. And even if it's for people who have never played the original, and there's a remaster available, I would still say, don't do it. Don't do it. You can pass on it. It's not that good.
Oh man, that's just too bad. Like,
I'm only saying it's not that good because if you play it in modern days, it's not going to be a good experience.
yeah, it
But
just hasn't aged well. I mean, I was just again, it's one of Sega's best RPGs. I'll just go out and say it. Okay.
sure, but I would say that the Fantasy Star series is way better.
Yeah, they're definitely long running. That's for sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, okay. Well, thanks for ruining my night. Okay, so Hyrule Warriors. Nintendo had a treehouse. Let's just say that. Okay, they had a treehouse event. They showed a lot of Pikmin 3, lots, like a lot of Pikmin 3. Like if you didn't know anything about Pikmin 3, you know a lot about it now. They've added tons of different stuff to it, tons of different modes and whatnot. I was really hoping for more than just the two games, but that's all we got. So we got Pikmin 3, and then we got a lot of Hyrule Warriors Age of Calamity.
Oh yeah.
Actually, was it a lot though? It went by really fast. I don't know if it was a lot,
It was
but we
like over 20 minutes.
wow. Okay, so it was a decent amount, but we got a lot of new information, right? Basically, what they showed a lot of Urbosa. They showed us a little bit more of Impa, which she is still awesome, and
Yep.
so basically, one of the major things that a lot of people got out of this is that your weapons don't break, which is a good thing, right? Because if they kept breaking in this it would just be it would be unplayable. I'm sorry. You just have to continue to get weapons fighting 1,000 enemies. It would just be a mess. What I'm wondering though is, in the 100 years, did weapon making get worse? Is that why they break in Breath of the Wild? Like, what happened in the hundred? Honestly, what happened in the 100 years? Why do they keep breaking?
They're weapons that were already made and they're 100 years old, so of
Oh,
course they break.
makes sense now. Dude, you are hitting me with facts. Uh,
I enjoyed the weapon breaking system. I think it was brilliant.
whatever. We're not gonna get into that part of the discussion. But yeah, they showed off a lot of Urbosa. They showed off a lot of some kind of like combo attacks that you can do, whether it was with Urbosa or Impa.
They
Cor-
took they took the literal assets of Breath of the Wild and put it into this game. You're in. I mean, when they're showing the Urbosa thing, you're in. What was that town? Gerudo Village, Gerudo
I
Town.
I know what you're talking about, but basically it's not like dilapidated though, is it? Right?
It's pretty much a one-to-one, almost one-to-one. Like
Oh, you're
if
talking to Urbosa's main town.
that town, yeah,
Yeah, yeah, it's 1-to-1.
yeah. Well, I think one area might be a little bit different, but or some areas might be subtly different just to be expanded because it looks a little bit bigger to fit more enemies, obviously for
Mm-hmm.
a Warriors game. But yeah, they like matched it. It's a match. Like I recognized everything. I'm like, oh yeah, if you turn that direction, there should be the little water thing and
Yep.
the yeah. It's like it's all there. It's all there.
Yep. And it even goes down to the map of Hyrule, which is relatively close to what you have in Breath of the Wild. Even the look of it, like everything
Yeah,
is there.
I am so excited for this.
And
So
and it's weird, right? Like this is like I've never been into these types of games, right? The Misu games. But this just feels and obviously looks so different than a lot of the other ones.
yeah, it does.
But
So they showed off some of the combat stuff and the gear. They do actually show off a decent amount. So there's an experience system, so you are going to level up. You do get to change up your gear and equipment. There is a crafting of sorts system where you can enhance you're going to get loot dropped and you're going to be able to get like a whole bunch of different swords and shields and whatnot, and you're
mhm,
going to be able to like take other swords or weapons and sort of use them to enhance the level of some other weapon. So you can level up your weapons and your gear. You're playing as multiple characters all at the same time. So when you're not playing as Urbosa, or when you are playing as Urbosa, Link and Zelda are kind of running around. But I'm guessing you can hit a button. That's my guess to switch. It doesn't say what the button is, but you can essentially change the character. So they change from Urbosa to Zelda, then
Mm-hmm.
from Zelda to Link to Urbosa. So you can change up your characters midway through these levels, and these levels they're not small either. They're like big sections of the environment,
Yeah.
really big.
Yeah, I'm just watching gameplay, and they have Korok seeds are back now. I don't know. I'm not sure what um as to what detail they'll be in. I know they found one in the gameplay. I don't remember if they told us like if we find all of them, like do we get something? I'm not entirely sure.
I
Uh,
don't want to know.
I
I'm just
don't.
glad it's there. I'm glad. I'm excited.
And then also Link had a was it? I think it was Link. He had a tiny guardian robot following him. Did you notice that?
Yes, I did. Yeah, there's some weird shenanigan type technological things, which is
Yeah.
great.
So I mean, in Breath of the Wild, we're just so used to these guardians being um just enemies, right?
Yeah.
Whereas in this one, obviously it's 100 years prior that this they did in fact have them on their side. So again, it's just a cool aspect to all these things. I think Zelda even had control of a bigger guardian at some point. But yeah, I think a lot more people are excited about this, and this just came out of nowhere, and I'm so surprised, and I think they are too, that this didn't come out get like no one knew this was coming. Right? They just came out with it, and it was just a surprise to everyone.
Yeah. At the point in the video I'm looking at, it's they're going over the upgrade system for weapons. So when you're on the main map view, you can do some various enhancement type stuff. I also get the feeling they might have explained it during the treehouse event, but I get the feeling that things are happening on the map that is in real time. So when you're in one section of the world battling enemies, the there's going to be enemy forces that are going to move or change the state of the world map. They're going to continuously move through. So you have to be cognizant of fending off multiple this battle, this war that's happening across multiple fronts, and
Yeah,
they're all going to be happening in real time. So I'm getting the feeling that there's going to be some degree of consideration for where you need to divvy up your time.
yeah, and I think that's pretty much across the board with a lot of these warrior games where things are happening kind of everywhere, really, and you have to kind of manage that. It gets a little chaotic at times, but I'm wondering how they're going to manage it with this iteration.
That sounds. I really like gameplay elements like that. That sounds exciting to me.
Yeah, yeah. Oh boy, another one to look forward to. That's for sure. All right,
Yeah.
Rumorland. We got nothing for Rumorland? What?
Nothing.
All right. Let's quickly go over the upcoming RPGs, and then we're going to get into our main topic. We're getting a little deep into our episode here, so let's quickly go over this here. Today is October 8th. We're going to go a week or so ahead. Let me see. Let me see. Ghost of a Tale, 24.99. Ghost of a Tale is a kind of a port over. I think I'm not sure what it was on before. But basically, you're it's kind of like a stealth RPG. You're basically a mouse, and Ghost of a Tale follows a courageous minstrel mouse named Tilo on a perilous quest to escape the dungeon's dwindling heights keep and discover the fate of his true love, Mara. Set in a medieval world where rats rule over all other creatures, Ghost of a Tale weaves an epic yet intimate story combining elements of a classic adventure, action RPG, and exploration with a rich and highly immersive visual style. So yeah, I like the visual style of this without a doubt. And actually, I've never played it, but I've seen people play it. I like a lot of the stealth mechanics in it. It takes it takes into consideration light and dark sort of stuff, like if you're in the daylight, that sort of stuff. But yeah, as far as what it's been rated, I have no clue on that. You may have a better understanding on that. I'm not
I am
sure.
looking it up right now because wow, this game looks good. It looks visually very impressive.
Yeah.
All right, so on Steam, ooh, the user reviews are 91-ish%, which is real good. Metacritic, it's at a 75, which is also really it's definitely in a good territory. I don't see how this would be an RPG, but it's listed there as a genre, so action, adventure, stealth, RPG.
Yeah,
Uh,
there's definitely a leveling system. I don't really remember, like I'd have to look up some video gameplay. I don't really remember how that plays into things, but it's definitely an RPG.
wow, this is a good looking game.
It is a good looking game, and hopefully it's been handled with care with the port over. I'm not sure what it looks like on the Switch.
You know, any game with rats and mice, rodents, they are my spirit animals. So I
Rodents
am, yeah, oh
rodents
yeah,
are?
I'm a rat, man. I'm
Oh,
totally a
okay.
rat. I'm like full rat. If there's ever a spirit animal, that's me. I'm a rat.
All right. Okay, cool. Cool, cool, cool.
Like this has my name written all over it. I am totally digging what I'm seeing here.
Yeah, I can hear it too.
Yeah, sorry about that.
You're jamming it. All right, cool. So that is Ghost of a Tale, October 9th, 24.99. They don't have a pre-order uh percentage off. So all right, next we have Falcon Age. Falcon Age is right now at 14.99. I'm guessing, yeah, it says the sale will end October 15th. Falcon Age is actually I want to say it started off as a VR game, and then it's kind of moved over to what we have now here.
Yeah,
Basically a regular console game.
yeah.
S
This is. I think it was also on PlayStation 4 as well. It's not a new game, but
Yeah, no, not a new game.
yeah, it's an interesting thing because yeah, this bird will grow with you as you're teaching it and instructing it and stuff like that. And it was, as you said, a VR game, so that's gonna be interesting that they removed the VR elements because there was a whole lot of interaction with there. So I'm kind of curious as to because this was I think it was a PlayStation VR game. That's why I said PS4.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I'm curious how it's gonna play.
Yeah, and I know a lot of people, especially in the Discord group, Discord server, that are pretty excited for this game in particular.
Yeah.
Quick description: Bond with a baby falcon and go on an adventure. Falcon Age is a first-person single-player action adventure where you play as Aura in her fight to reclaim her cultural legacy in the lost art of falcon hunting, you against a force of automated colonizers. So it is. I like the look of it. It's very minimalistic in terms of the UI, which is pretty cool. It's it's real first. I don't want to say real, like it's first person. The only thing you have, I hope, at least with these screenshots are showing, all you have is a compass on the bottom. Am I wrong in that? Do you see anything else otherwise saying otherwise?
It is very limited on UI stuff. So yeah, I think that's kind of it. It's probably immersive UI, where the UI is a natural part of your character, like pieces you wear, like the wrist, that thing on your wrist,
Yep.
on your right arm. So yeah, it's probably going to be just subtle stuff like that, and that's fine. Immersive UI is, I think, excellent way to incorporate VR or UI elements. Dead Space did it real good.
Mm-hmm.
Fallout does it not as.
Well, they
Well,
incorporate like the HUD display with the power armor. Oops, sorry. Um,
yeah, yeah.
so they kind of do it that way.
I think Metroid Prime gets away with it because it does look like you're in the helmet, so you would expect UI elements to show up in there. But
Right.
yeah, so stuff like that, I think is great.
All right, cool. So that is Falcon Age, October 9th, which is tomorrow, and it's got a little bit of a pre-order discount at $14.99. So yeah, take a look at that one. Next we're gonna go with Vigil, The Longest Night. Does have a pre-order sale on this one of where am I? 1979 US dollars.
Oh no.
This one is October 15th. Again, Vigil, The Longest Night. You saying oh no?
Yeah, I don't know why did they release it? Why?
Why do you say that? What do you know?
Well, I played it
And
and it was shaping up to be good, but it needed more work.
need
It's janky.
need more time.
It needed more polish.
Oh,
It's just a very good example of what they had in there was good, solid. They're on the right track. It just needed way more polish. And I played it a month ago on PC, which is gonna be the closer to the final version than any other platform iteration that there is.
mm-hmm.
So, or maybe I played it 2 months ago or something like that. It was either a month ago or 2 months ago. It wasn't that far off. This is part of one of the summer indie events,
Oh,
and
okay.
it was during that, and they said, "Oh, a bunch of these demos are available, and this is one of them." And I played it. I played it pretty decently, and I was liking what I was playing, but yeah, as I said, they need more. It needed more work.
Oh,
And the fact that they're releasing it now means they didn't put in that extra work. They just finished it,
okay.
which is unfortunate. So I don't think it's going to score very high.
Okay.
So
Well, here's a description. Vigil, The Longest Night is a 2D action RPG with precise technical combat and a strong narrative. Souls-like. Is pretty much what that means, right?
yeah,
Uh,
it is Souls-like. Yeah.
yeah. So Vigil, The Longest Night aims to challenge players with its difficult while compelling them with a tale of eldritch horror. Follow Leia on her quest to save her hometown from creeping evil infesting the surrounding countryside. Navigate a world that wanders between dream and reality, sanity and madness, and uncover the secret of the longest night and the monstrous entities invading its world. I will say though, I mean, gameplay aside, I like the visuals on it. I like yeah, I really am digging the visuals. I don't know what a game plays like, but I think it's cool. That aspect of it, anyway.
It it plays fine, but it doesn't play well. So that's the best I can describe it. It's there are a little bit of jankiness in there in how it plays. It doesn't play as accurate as you kind of want it to play, and as smooth, and as it doesn't feel like you're completely in control of things and of situations. But you know, who knows? Maybe they did fix everything off, because I did play. Maybe the demo I played was from a few months
Right.
prior to that. Maybe they did put in enough to polish it up.
I mean
Because I
that
was
happens
digging
a
it.
lot though. That happens a lot where you get an older build.
Yeah, yeah.
But I mean, generally they should probably tell you that this isn't necessarily the end version of it, that sort of stuff. You're playing an older build, whatever. And that is going to do it for this episode here. I've split this episode into two different parts, mostly because it ran a little longer than what normally people would like to listen to. So be sure to follow the next segment where we discuss our top 15 horror RPGs. Once again, thank you so much for listening. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe everywhere. And if you can, please give us a rating and review. We want to climb up those charts. Thank you again for listening.